Holy crap, talk about headphones.
So welcome, Corey. Trying to give Kevin the link. Well, it sounds like he's having some issues.
No worries.
First thing I got to start off with, though, and maybe I'll bring it up to Dave again later. That one picture, that true hero pose, it almost is like the Top Gun, come on, like,
we got some really good
do that for our intro pictures, Dave.
Yeah. So. Some artistic renditions by our photographers for sure.
So we'd like to welcome our guest, Corey Hatt from MadHatter Industries. I'm a fan of their merch in more ways that I'll explain later as we get going. And so, Corey, welcome to the Canadian Guys live stream. Tell us about yourself, what you do, and what you ride.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, gents. And a little bit about me. I've been in the Canadian Armed Forces now for 20 years. I've gone through every rank up to platoon warrant. Then I recently commissioned 2 years ago to platoon commander, 2 tours in Afghanistan, 306 and 309 with some private security work in between in Barbados. I work now full-time at Ontario Power Generation, so I'm in the Canadian Army Primary Reserves, the military police, and I work as a senior technical officer for enterprise emergency management with Ontario Power Generation. So we take care of the nuclear division, doing drills and exercises, similarly to what I do when I plan exercises for the military. We just do it on a nuclear level for worst case contingencies, and then we just coordinate. So I started on there doing 6 years on the teams. They have like an armed security group. They do BTOC similar to the Toronto ETF, styled after them. And I've kind of done that until I transitioned to the job I have now. In between that, I started MadHatter Industries. We're on our 3rd year now. And that was basically a mental health initiative that was done after losing a few friends to suicide. It was my way of trying to create a community to prevent suicide and spread the mission to help others, to motivate them, to help them and inspire with the designs that we have. The Memento Mori you have is our 2nd design ever done. This is the original I have. It's going.
I have that one too, but I've worn it so much it's pretty faded now.
Yeah. So the goal was to make shirts similar to what we wore overseas on operations, something soft and comfortable that had your back. You could use it for a workout, for a long motorcycle ride. Basically, a reliable shirt that's comfortable to wear with a cool design. And we've progressed from kind of a simple 1-color matrix on a silk screen to multi-depth 7 to 8 color platforms and hats and hoodies and other items as well. So now we have a tactical line, and we just kind of do and follow everything that we love. Motorcycling is our passion. We love getting out on the road. in 2013, I started a motorcycle club with some veteran friends of mine that all went through a Blackwater course and had deployed. There were 7 original members, and they're known as the Pit Horseman Charter of the Pipe Hitters Union Motorcycle Club. And we've basically been riding now since then. I recently just picked up a new bike. I sold my old Softail to my 2IC, and now I have a 2014 Street Bob, which is a really cool custom bike. It's a custom build for Conquer Motorcycles. So Rob at Conquer helped with a deal. I met him at the Motorcycle Super Show, and it's a really unique bike. So I'll send you a link and some pictures of that. But it's basically got a tan Cadpat variant throughout the body. It's got the old FXR fairing, the FXDB fairing, and just some unique custom items to it.
Yeah,
so,
I think I saw some pictures on social media.
Yeah, and Paul Franklin signed the saddlebag, which is a 50 cal ammo can. It's really got a unique history. We got a tan little flag that we wear on our left shoulder when we're overseas. Some really interesting small touches to it that makes it unique, and a part of our company where we're basically taking it around to all the events, talking about our stories and trying to connect with veterans out there and tell them that they're not alone and help them link them into the community for mental health. So we got a few initiatives going on, and part of that is getting out and spreading the word of awareness, and also finding where we can help and donate directly to proceeds and charities that help with mental health. So Veterans and Everyday Heroes is a big charity we support. Every dollar for dollar that's donated goes directly to support veterans and veteran initiatives for raising service dogs. Wounded Warriors, we're now making their shirts, and a few other charities that we're supporting. We're doing the Ruck to Remember, the Walk for the Wounded. We're making their shirts as well as doing the walk. Op Pegasus is coming up. So you got Rob McNeil and Tim Turner out in Comox, BC, out of Campbell River Skydive. They're the only veteran-owned skydive drop zone in Canada. We're going to be doing a basic parachuting operation out of there, a little course, and then I'll do my free fall out of Parachute Ottawa. So we're kind of all over the place this summer, as well as at some events. You've probably seen our social media. We're promoting the Highway Heathens. They're a young stunt team. Lots of energy, good people doing some good stuff, and we teamed up with a few other groups to help that stunt team get out to events. So we're following them around and slinging our merchandise and some new designs and talking about what we do with mental health.
Yeah, well, we've covered off so many of the points of things I was going to talk about anyway. This is great.
And Corey, correct me if I'm wrong. Are you also helping out with Bomb the Bruce?
Correct. Yeah, that's another event we're going to be at July 16th out of Fox Harley Davidson. So we'll be setting up a table and supporting the mission there and helping to tell the story. It's another great cause.
Right, and a great area too. Lots of nice
amazing.
riding up through there.
Okay, well, before everyone keeps stealing all my thunder about stuff, you're jumping so far ahead of me on so many things. Ron Hanna, Travis Dunn, Tom Buckley, welcome Ian, the guys in the side chat. One thing I did before this, I reached out to Craig and Lucinda and Mike Terry, because both of them within the last week have started their big journeys. So Craig and Lucinda have already had a big change in their plans, but they are currently today on a ferry to Haida Gwaii. So and Mike sent me a little video. So let's put this up for a minute.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Terry from Dispatch's Adventure Ride. I am broadcasting to you from inside of my tent in the Appalachian Mountains overlooking Mont Magny, Quebec, just kind of at the entrance to the Gaspé Peninsula. So I am on day 4. Day 4? Yeah, day 4 of my ride so far across Canada. Ran into a little bit of weather today and my kit might be wet, but my spirits remain undampened. Anyway, I just wanted to say hello to Kevin, Dave, Wayne, of course, my old buddy Rob. And as I understand, Corey from MadHatter Industries is joining you guys tonight. So, hey, Corey, how's it going? Looking forward to seeing you on July 16th at Bomb the Bruce. I just want to wish everybody an incredible riding season. I hope you guys are getting some saddle time. And as always, if I'm passing anywhere near to any of you, feel free to come out and say hello. All right, take care, guys. Bye.
So I had to throw that little clip in there. We had Mike on a couple months ago talking about his ride. And that's kind of where a lot of the stuff with the guests I try to bring on. Because like you said, you were 309. I was actually I did basically between Christmas and New Year's, I can't remember the exact date, to mid-July of 09. I worked in RC South headquarters in Kandahar.
Okay. Yeah, so we would have just missed each other. I came in October in 09.
Yeah, because you guys would have replaced the Van Doos who came in while I was there.
Yeah, so I spent half the tour as a detainee handler and the second half as a machine gunner with the Palmer, with the C9 at 3VP.
Well, I worked in the Helo Ops world.
Awesome.
Wow.
But mostly because of some international sensitivities, I ended up working for the Brits.
Okay, right on. I've done some work with the Brits in the past. So
did a lot of working with them down in Helmand province and visiting the FOBs down there.
Oh. Well, guys, listen, I'll just jump in and thank both of you for your service to the country and the work that you continue to do. Right. Thank you very much.
Appropriately timed, Dave. Thank you, because it is Memorial Day down in the States. So happy Memorial Day to all those in the side chat who are down in the U.S. Yeah. So I do want to mention in the side chat, all the links are pinned to the top of the MadHatter website and all his socials. Please go check him out, give him a like, follow, subscribe, and sign up. I think you guys have a newsletter that, if I remember correctly, gets you a discount code for your first time off, for your first purchase. And if not, I know where to get other discount codes because I know who Tim is.
Yeah, we got a welcome 10, and we'd be happy to provide one for the podcast as well for future episodes.
Yeah. So I just have to ask Corey a quick question, right? Because he identified himself as using a machine gun, and at the show, I had the pleasure of meeting both Mike and Corey at the International Bike Show back in April. And Corey, did you ever make it over to Mike's booth?
I was so slammed. That was the busiest event we had. I was able to touch bases with Mike afterwards, but I didn't make it out to the booth. It was the most busiest we've ever been. The single most visited and highest grossing event we've done yet.
Wow! Well, great success. Good for you. No, I was just going to mention, because the booth beside Mike was a guy, and he had all of these airsoft guns and rifles, and he had one that was a machine gun. Right? Yeah. It looked real to me. And Mike said, and he had two of his friends helping him in the booth. And he said to the owner of the booth, he says, if that thing goes missing, it's probably one of us that took it.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. We have a few tactical distributors. One of them's an airsoft depot, and the guns that they have there look and weigh and operate just like a real rifle, an assault rifle. They also have machine guns there. I was really impressed with the stuff that they have. So it is an interesting and unique niche, and you keep pretty physically active chasing after people with those rounds that they fire. So it's something that we're getting into as well.
Wow. Yeah. I was just totally amazed, not growing up with it. So, now, to see it, it looked like it. Yeah. It totally looked real to me. Right. So anyway,
it's great for drills, dry fire, our stealth movements, IRD, IARD, and anything CQB. Like, it's great. Up until pulling the trigger, everything's pretty much the same actions.
Wow. And I'll just say that the owner of that booth moved it from bordering Mike's booth to bordering the other person's booth. So he moved it away, moved the temptation away.
Just to be safe.
Just to be safe, yeah.
Smart.
Oh.
So, right. Corey, tell us your riding backstory. What got you into motorcycles, and what brought you to where you are now? And welcome to the Scouse in the side chat, the military biker. He's a recently retired British Army armored guy.
Awesome. Yeah, I was out in the country. Wasn't much way to get out other than a bicycle. So, miles apart from my neighbor, a dirt bike was a pretty handy way, through the season to get out there. And then those snow machines, you get a snowmobile. But I really started getting into it after my second tour when I started with OPG. Once I got on the teams, I had a little bit of extra cash, and I happened to reconnect with a few brothers that I deployed with and got on course, and we just started a club. And it was a way to keep everyone together. It was really about the brotherhood, and it kind of was the closest thing we could get to re-simulate the arduous feeling of being out on patrol, like, that physical feeling of exhaustion when you get back, and that element of danger. It made helped to relive things and feel alive again. Just got you out, and it just fired up those neurons that you had when you'd go out on a live call or outside the wire. And we ended up going on long trips. One summer we went all the way from here in Toronto to Austin, Texas in 3 days. That was probably the heaviest trip we took. It was 3,000 miles in 3 days. And since then we've kind of, we haven't gone as hard, but every year we do a big trip, and it really was about getting together. And from mental health wise, it helped you forget about all the problems that you had and issues that you were facing, and just kind of melted away in the background. Like, as you say, with the motorcycle, it's not really about getting from A to B. It's about the ride that it takes to get you there. There's no phone distractions other than the crazy drivers on the 401. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot here because we've had Graham Trude on talking about mental health and riding, as well as, like, I've worked with the Rolling Barrage for most years. No Mike with dispatches. But if you're ever looking for a destination, can I recommend the Cabot Trail?
Absolutely, yeah. And we went out with Graham a couple of years ago. It's really awesome to see his music career coming to fruition and taking off. But the Cabot Trail has always been something that I've wanted to do. And I've wanted to do it coast to coast as well. Start up in Newfoundland and go all the way down to Victoria, and then go up to Alaska and down to Austin again, or even through to Mexico.
So the first two people, Craig and Lucinda, they left Vancouver, went over to Victoria. They were supposed to go up to Port Hardy, then take the Inside Passage ferry to Prince Rupert. They ended up having to go up something changed. I'm not sure exactly what yet, but I'm sure the videos will tell the story. And they're going up to Tuck. He's on a Pan America. She's driving a sport vehicle. They're going to be out for 5 months, 4 corners of Canada, 3 oceans, 2 people, one
country.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah. We randomly got drunk, me and my old roommate, who was my best man at my wedding, and we decided to buy a plane ticket to Central America with the idea of motorcycling all around. We didn't realize how big the landmass was, and when we sobered up, we realized it was actually Central America instead of South America. That was the original idea, but that was one of the best motorcycle trips I've taken, is with him and going around. We started in Belize, we went to Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, and then back through Honduras and out. But it was just it was a heck of a trip. Yeah, that was one of the best trips I've taken.
Cool.
It is.
Yeah, like that's.
How long did the trip take you?
5 weeks. It was pretty hectic. By the time we got to Nicaragua, the idea was originally to go down to Panama, through Costa Rica, but the cost of Costa Rica, the whole trip cost about just a little over $2,000. So we were really bootstrapping it, going as cheap as we could, and we got to the point where you'd save a whole $5 when you got a hostel with the shower as well as a bed in the same room, and that was a little bit too cheap because when the power cut out, we thought we were for sure going to get kidnapped, and it's good we didn't. But we met a lot of colorful characters along the way, and San Pedro Sula was actually one of the most awesome cities I've been to. It's known as the death capital of the world. Tegucigalpa was really good. Guatemala was just so hectic though, with the roads, the ups and downs. It was all basically mountainous regions. It was very hectic. And Nicaragua was probably the most favored country for riding anyways, but it was all learning curve. We went to a small island called Ometepe, and there's some really unique riding there and some shady, they just were. I used to seeing gringos go by in the countryside. There's some questions if we're CIA or whatever, but we were able to articulate.
Yeah, you don't look like a police officer at all.
Yeah, so we got out of there pretty quick with a little bundle of bananas strapped to the bike, but it was a unique trip. Yeah, it was
Wow.
one of the best trips ever.
Now you did this on your bikes, or did you rent bikes for this?
No, we rented bikes in each country, and we basically just returned in the areas. So then
Okay.
we did a mix of motorcycling, like just on adventure touring bikes, and then jumping on vans as well, because we had such a short timeline. And then we booted back to Belize to see our girlfriends, and now for me, wife at the time. So yeah, it was an interesting trip.
Wow.
Yeah, it's there's always those bucket list things, and I remember traveling around, and you always look at some of these roads, and you look at the bike rental place, and they got this sketchy thing, and you're like, well, it's not that much.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's part of the journey, and learning how to fix the motorcycle mechanic basics. Stringing together an exhaust that's banged off, or trying to find a way to lubricate an overheated bike. It gets
Yeah, I
pretty
usually just found it was easier to be the guy drinking on the bus, and because the traffic was nuts in half the country. So
No, the
Oh.
roads were insane. For some of them, we just took the bus. Some of the mountain passes. I think one of the most sketchiest parts is when we were crossing from Guatemala to El Salvador on this river raft that sunk halfway through, basically up to the wheel wells of the van. It was just tied together logs, and they had an old engine tied to this weird drive shaft that was turning a propeller. But it was at the point, I was also maybe a little bit hungover, where I was considering how to escape if the van ended up tipping over. It was just so sketchy. So yeah, we survived though.
You
yeah,
could write.
I thought this. I learned when you start hearing about bus accident kills 200.
Yeah.
I totally get it now. Yeah, like you just when you travel around down there, you realize, okay, I get it.
God, we could. I'm just happy to listen to Corey's, stories of this trip. It's something I'd never thought of, right?
It was unique.
Wow. Now, what made you do this? What?
Alcohol. We got drunk and we wanted to go to South America, but Belize was a $400 ticket, which seemed like a really good deal. We got our girlfriends on the phone. We said, "Hey, we got drunk and we booked this ticket," and we waited for a reaction, and they just kind of paused. Since we had them both on the phone, nobody wanted to be the one that was going to complain, so they didn't say anything. And we booked the ticket. It was a test, and off we went. It was kind of like that last big adventure before we got married, and it was a lot of fun.
Wow.
Yeah, because no good story ever starts with, "Well, I was having a cup of tea," right, Scouse?
Yeah, no, there were some great stories that had a few drinks involved, and the countryside's beautiful, and so are the people, and the food is amazing. Like it really made you realize how little you really need to be happy in life. You just need a little bit of cash to pay for your next meal, and you can carry everything you really need in a backpack, all your possessions.
Yeah, so Mike's in the side chat too, and then the military biker's not disagreeing with me.
Yeah, I like Mike's comment here. Alcohol is the gateway to adventure.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah.
So you mentioned to me in the email today, True Patriot Loves kind of set something up pretty cool for you guys. Can you tell us about it?
Amazing. So we got a curveball email by the organizers at True Patriot Love to meet Corey Taylor. He's the lead singer of Slipknot, and he also has another band called Stone Sour. And we got to meet him today for an hour and a half. He came by talking about mental health. He's started the Taylor Foundation, and I think he's about to go on in about half an hour. Cypress Hill is just finishing up their set. So I'm in the background right now on the Budweiser stage. We got whisked away on a VIP tour to hang out with Corey Taylor and his band and talk about his story. So Corey's had quite a story, which connected with me, another Corey who's dealt with issues with suicide and mental health. And for those that don't know, in 2012, I did an expedition with True Patriot Love, which was the first expedition they ever put together. Every year, they put together a team that goes to do something incredible somewhere around the world. In 2012, I went with it was a team of 12 veterans and 12 donors. We climbed Island Peak in Nepal in the Himalayas. So it was 21,350 feet elevation. And we also did a few other peaks, Space Camp, Everest. We did Kalapatar, but that was the big one. That was the highest elevation. And it was a really arduous task. It took about 4 weeks to get there. We started in Kathmandu, landed in Lukla Airport, which is known as the world's most dangerous airport. Just kind of hopped in there and started our trek. There's a documentary called March to the Top that you can check out. And I did it with some incredible people. Frank DePere was a veteran who recently, unfortunately, passed away. He was a member in the Canadian Forces that had gotten blown up by a suicide bomber, survived after losing 4 liters of blood. And he was on that climb. He was one of the first people to the top and also a Mason. And that's kind of how we continued our friendship, because I'm a Mason as well. And I've had him out to my lodge in the past, where I have a military degree team that I put together, and just telling his story. It was an incredible story of survival and resilience. And really just Frank's biggest thing was his attitude on life. He never gave up. He saw the positive in everything, made the most of everything, and just a really amazing person. And that whole team is really what set the pace for what True Patriot Love's done every year. They go on a big adventure and they work with the community, doing small initiatives. And one of these things is connecting with the Taylor Foundation. So myself and 3 other veterans right now are out at the concert enjoying the show. And next year we hope to get some more veterans out there and continue to work on small initiatives, both in the field of arts, where we have every year there's a gala, and they allow some veterans to work on military helmets that they decorate and kind of put their own style and spin to it. And then other initiatives, getting guitars in the hands of veterans. Dave Ward's out here right now. For those of you that know him, he's with Bushwookie Apparel, and he's just going into surgery tomorrow just to get some adjustments. But we've all had our battles with mental health. And, you know, Dave, he's also fighting the good fight. And those are part of the people that we just connect with. And it's part of our mission to just continue to help others and do what we can and help find what it is that they're passionate about so they can live their adventure. That's actually our motto.
Yeah, and you actually hit on a lot of the ones I was going to bring up, like Ruck to Remember. I've heard you on a number of other podcasts, like because you've been on Chance's Tools for the Toolbox. You know, I should have wrote more of them down, but you know, yeah.
We got a few. There's quite a few. Dave Morrow is Hard to Kill podcast.
But you were on with Mark Monkey too, I think. You know, and Life Behind Bars. You know, and you know, there's a lot of the same theme, and that's the main reason why I asked you to come on, is the whole mental health, PTSD support, and talking about it. And that's a big thing, is getting the conversation going. And you know, that's a great thing. You know, like hopefully you'll be able to turn some of tonight's stuff into a bit of social media stuff for you, because that is great when you have someone of his stature willing to sort of put that stuff out there. That helps. You know, because that's the biggest thing with a lot of stigmas and awareness conversations, is who's talking about it. And if you have the right people talking, more people learn, because it is a lot about the messenger, less about the message. I speak from experience on this, because when I came down with bladder cancer, I didn't know what it was until I found out it was the 4th most common cancer in men. You know, but it's that common, nobody talks about it. So having these mental health conversations and having people willing to put themselves out there, especially celebrities, is a great thing.
Yeah, and it's really all about awareness, letting people know that they're not alone and the issues that they face are not unique. A lot of veterans have issues when they're transitioning, getting out of the forces. They feel alone. There's a level of depression that comes in when you set that uniform down and kind of blend back into anonymity. There's an issue there where that transition is tough for a lot, especially
Well,
around certain times of the year.
well, it's
Things
just
get dark.
even just due to COVID. I retired over a year ago. Still haven't had a Department of Dignity. Probably won't get one.
Well, if
So
I was your platoon commander, I'd make sure you do. And that reminds me, I'm a few organized myself and the master drop that's been requested of a few of our members. But it's really something that's deserved to every member for the
yeah,
time that they
but
put in.
now a year later, because of COVID, now that we can have a gathering, it doesn't even seem relevant anymore. Like I'll just go up, pick up my flag and my certificates, and you know,
Well, there is a renaissance now. It feels to me like everybody's excited to be talking in person without a mask. And
yeah.
you probably hear the crowd going right here in the background. But it's the
Well, when you got to
busiest
bail on
we've been
us,
around.
we understand because you got a pretty cool thing. We don't, we'll talk about other things, including your cool designs. And, I'm all about memento mori, memento vivere, because you saw my video when I got a tattoo for memento mori, but I haven't put out the video for memento vivere yet.
I love the fact that you were inspired to get that tattoo and the story you told when you did do the tattoo, because that's exactly our aim with our designs, is to inspire and connect with individuals so they understand the resonance and the thought put behind those designs, and it tells a story really to
Well, memento mori was
people out
something memento mori really came into being for me in that first year of cancer diagnosis when they were trying to get it under control, because you have to have those internal conversations about your own mortality. And so that really helps you understand, remember you will die, but that's why I take memento vivere, remember to live and live the good life.
Exactly, it's the flip. We don't want to just dwell on the fact that we're going to die. You have to make the most out of everything, and really every day is an opportunity to do that again. It's not death isn't something that we should dwell on. We should remember to live each and every day, but it's also important to know the legacy we leave behind.
Yeah. And Scouts, I don't disagree with you, but you're still young. You need to work for a bunch of years. Us old farts should be able to retire.
But you know something, retiring, I mean, the services have been a big part of both of your lives, and it's a family, it's a community that you were part of, and now you've left, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big part of you that you miss. And Steve's comment, my job, was a union rep, and when I retired, I missed the bantering and the camaraderie of the people that I worked with. I can't imagine what you guys go through when you finally retire or move on to your next opportunities, right? So I just saw Steve's comment here, and I thought I'd put it up for you.
Yeah, I mean, planning that to the end is good. It's one of the books that I read, about sharpening the saw, but learning to retire gracefully. In the position I'm in, looking for who's going to replace me is a part of that. And it's also one of the greatest honors to lead the next generation of leadership. I also know when your time has come, you'll continue to serve, but in other ways. Once we put down that uniform, it doesn't mean we've stopped serving our membership. We're there to help, and we'll be there to listen. And again, like with the MadHatter Industries brand, just like a lot of our retired members, we're that conversation in the garage over a coffee or a beer on the porch, where we're there to listen, or when somebody needs a helping hand to help them get the
or
help
just
that they need.
volunteering and supporting things like the Rolling Barrage, dispatches, Bomb the Bruce, Ruck Remember, Walk for Remembrance, or Veterans Walk, like all those things. Throwing in that support is how we continue to contribute. We may not be part of the circus anymore, but we sure miss the clowns.
and we got some great ones like Michael Terry's journey through Canada. I'm really stoked to be a part of that and to help him spread his message, and also this contributed to his foundation and to help him continue along. And it's really incredible other veterans that are doing things like that. And it's good to be around the Meaford area, not on course, where I can actually enjoy, the environment without getting yelled at or waking up at 4 in the morning.
Yeah, that's what I kind of enjoyed, because I was 31 years, and you hit a point after, about the first 5 years of training, and then you kind of, now it's just, okay, my annual performance checks, and I didn't have to requalify in helicopter. I just kept going. So, I didn't have to go back to school, and it was great. It was just like you're watching everyone else churn through the mill, and then it's like,
Yeah. Okay, I got to ask a motorcycle question. Are you up for it, guys?
Fire away.
I'm always up for a motorcycle question.
There we go. Corey, where's your next ride going to happen? What are you looking forward to for the summer of 2022?
Well, the next big ride, we were out in Kawartha Lakes running around there all weekend. We're heading to Bécancour, Quebec this Saturday. That's going to be a ride Friday to Saturday and then back. So it's going to be hectic. And we have June 11th. We're up in Bob Cajun for the Bike Fest. So that won't be too much of a heavy ride, but Bob Cajun's like my second home to me, a home among many. But we also have a brewery out there for any riders listening. It's called Old Dog Brewing Company. If you ever want to have a sample, Scott's our head brewery, and you just tell them the Mad Hatter sent you and give me a shout, and I'd be happy to meet you up there.
Oh, good. Very good.
Yeah, craft breweries are fun.
Yeah, and there's a passion to it as well. Every beer, it's fresh, and there's a story behind the recipe. Scott is every beer he's made has been designed to basically perfection. There hasn't been one missed, so it's pretty awesome. And maybe not for everyone's taste, but it certainly widened my palate from drinking OV or 50 when I was in my old corporal days at the warehouse or whatever. But I don't.
Well, perhaps
more
50.
eclectic.
I think when we renovated the cottage, I think we found some of those stubbies underneath the deck.
Probably still tastes the same too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But you're right. I mean, you can have a great ride and find a microbrewery in most of the small communities throughout Ontario.
I designed my rides around microbreweries.
Yeah.
One of the best places I ever had was a spot in Maine. I still don't know where it is, but we stopped off at this little, it was an old mill that right off like a little waterfall. And I still don't know where it is, but it was probably one of the best beers I ever had. It was just amazing.
Oh, good. Very good.
Yeah. So we talked a bit about your designs, and what I want to do now is I want to share your website. Share screen. Just got to find the right tab here.
Corey, who does your artwork for your T-shirts?
That's where this question.
Yeah, that's a great question. I sketch the art out. I've always been somebody that doodled. Some of them have been pretty simple. So the I Got Your Back is probably something we're going to revise. It was just in me learning through design. It was our third design. I think that should have been on the actual back, and just the way the letters were. You can see next to that is the Seek and Repair. So there's a little bit more depth to that. Seek and Repair was actually from one of my most favorite Metallica albums, Seek and Destroy, and I switched it to gear towards mental health and helping others. And I used the tools as a reference to working on mental health, but also the enjoyment I get out of working on my motorcycle. I built up an old Roadstar, which I called the Yamaha Davidson. It had a part from a Honda Goldwing, some Harley Davidson parts, and Yamaha original parts. But it's part of the journey. And for me, it was a mental health positive, learning how to change things like the rectifier, the stator, putting in a Barnett clutch spring conversion. Following those steps is very therapeutic for me, and I really enjoyed it. And the design kind of tells a story. So You're looking at the MadHatter Industry top to the right, next to the Wolf Hunter. That was our first design. Then to the left was the No Quarter Given. That's a simple cross pistol. It's a Ross dueling pistol, which we use as our unit identifier with the military police. And No Quarter Given was a take on mental health. Ultimately, that was our first motto about suicide prevention. In no way will you allow yourself to allow suicide as an option. So in No Quarter Given, that terms is an old pirate speak, where you cast those thoughts overboard and you continue on. It's a mental resilience hardening. And then the Memento Mori original was something I did as an ode to a reflection that what we do every day needs to matter. We make the most.
So this is the one I'm wearing right now. I've literally worn out this one. I also have this one.
The remix was original. Like that was the hardest design I ever did. That's the first design I ever learned to do more than one color on. So some of the shirts that are out there may have a slight overprint on. They might have some red on the white because I was learning how to line them up properly. But it's a process to where the point where you see the strength and honor. We ended up doing a multi-color Pantone, which is a brilliant blue. Yeah. And strength and honor is what every Roman soldier said to each other as they went into battle. They pull each other up, do the old arm to arm, and say strength and honor. And that's kind of part of the values that we ascribe to.
So you print them all yourself in-house?
Yeah, I do it down in my basement. And we've since also adapted a new technology using white toner-based printing. So that's more unique because we could basically do any custom artwork. If you sent me a picture on your phone, I could put that on. The only thing is it's done in a white toner-based vinyl, and it's just a little bit more papery feeling than the silk screen. So for me, I enjoy the silk screen, and we're basically doing everything on that now, except for the Hatter and Roses. There actually are some designs where the vinyl is better, but it depends on the depth. It does print color more vibrantly, so it really depends on the design. But I'm an old school. I love mixing up the paints and getting the right colors down. So the therapeutic value of the silk screen and getting the colors right once it pops. The Death Before Dishonor is a good example. You see some real vibrancy in that color. That's in our new collection. That's probably the last page, yeah. But they're all really unique and they all tell a story. And they're also reflective of things that I've just been passionate about and different inspirations. Like there's a Hatter and Roses. Obviously, that's Guns N' Roses reference. There's the Death Before Dishonor. So a lot of depth in that painting, going from the yellow Pantone down to like a sunset burnt orange, getting that vibrancy.
Yeah, there's a YouTube channel, Lee Stewart. He was a stunt rider. Now he's turned himself into one hell of a printing company. I've got a couple of his shirts too, and he has some pretty impressive stuff, and he's just built himself an epic shop.
It's funny you mentioned that. We're actually getting to the point now we're doing hundreds of prints now, and Lee Stewart is one of those people we're talking to see what we can collaborate with, because his videos, if anybody's interested in learning how to silk screen, are just amazing, and a true passionate person and really a great rider too. So there's definitely, I think, some future collaborations with him.
And
as well.
I love one of the things he put on when he started his basement shop is he put basically the sticker on the wall that says basically do the fucking work.
They're very military-like, isn't it?
Yeah, that's kind of what I love about him is he's got that ethic that just, put in the work. Very Andy Frisella, because I know you guys. I've heard you guys talk about 75 Hard on some of your pages too. Like, so I know you guys follow Andy Frisella. So
we've done the challenge 3 times now. It's hectic.
Yeah, but it's a mindset I think a lot of people got to get into. And I just love seeing people display it and action it. And I know I suck at it, but I'm going to keep working at it and trying to improve.
It's amazing what anybody can accomplish when they set forward just 5 simple tasks, hydrating enough, working out twice a day, and doing a few other things, eating clean, no alcohol, no sugar. You cut those things out for 75 days, even 60 days or 30, you'd notice a huge difference.
Yeah, no, and that's like, I actually get how that when you got to go through something for a period of time. So, but yeah, so that's really cool that you're doing all this stuff in house, and that so much of it goes to those mental health, veterans charities, veterans and everyday heroes, and we do talk a lot about that. Like, so one of the things I do at the end of the show, so later when you get home, you can, if you watch this back, I steal from the military biker because he plays Julian Austin's Unsung Heroes at the end of all his live streams. So I've kind of taken a piece of that, and at the end of my live streams, I actually do his 3-minute video where he just talks about his 48 hours that he spent with the Rolling Barrage last year. And it's for people who get mental health, that it's what he says in that really resonates. And so that's why I share it as much as I can. Even though I do chuck shit at him just for fun, but it's, there's good messages. They need to be shared.
Yeah. Awesome.
What's next, Rob? Are we still on script with you, or are
Not
we
really. We're
all
kind of
over the place?
We're kind of all over the place. That's part of the fun, right?
Yeah.
I write the scripts so that we start somewhere, and then I just see I try to refresh my notes. So one of the things, I'll get back to motorcycles. What was your first bike?
Oh, the old classic. Well, most recently I got back into riding in 2011. I started out with a Shadow, but way before then, I had an old 125 Honda CR, and then I went up to a VTR 250, which I crashed badly doing a catwalk over a railroad track. I just landed bad and went ass over tea kettle and didn't ride again until 2011. Then I started out basically bombing back and forth from Toronto to Ottawa, because when I started on the teams, the wife was still out in Ottawa finishing her master's, and that was an economical choice. I sold her on me buying the bike because the amount of gas I'd save, and she said, sure, why not? And every year ended up going to bigger bikes. So I started at I think I had a 650 Shadow, then I went a 750, and then I went 1300 Fury, which is amazing. It was a little custom bike. And then from there, I went to the Roadstar, and then I got my first big bagger, which was the Vaquero, and then moved into my first Harley, the Softail. The Night Train was just an amazing bike. It's just a bike with a unique soul, and that's really kind of when we started getting into the Harley market and working with some of the stunt riders, getting to know them, getting to know the business, and working with other brands. And then the most recent one I have now, which is Dyna. This is a Street Bob FXDB. It's a 2014, and it's super light, agile, really maneuverable and nimble. Like, as far as Harleys go, I think it's really well built and designed, and just it's fun to ride.
Yeah. No, I think everyone's owned a Shadow in their riding history at some point. They're indestructible bikes, and they're great things. Everyone kind of goes, to me, they're one of those bikes that everyone's gone through.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I had a 97 American Classic Edition 1100.
Oh yeah, the old classic. I did ride a V-Star as well for a season from Virginia back, but that was a pretty cool bike. It was 1100 with big apes, just super fun to ride.
Nice. So I know you got to get back to the concert. We've had you on here 45 minutes now, and just to let you go. What are some last shout outs you want? Like, we'll carry on talking after you leave. But what sort of messages would you like to pass on?
Well, number one, to all those listening out there and any issues that they're facing, to know that they're not alone and to reach out. And we're always there. We're very approachable. We're open on all mediums. Instagram is probably the most popular. We get 90% of our traffic. If anybody ever wants to reach out and just connect, I think I sent you the Coat of Arms video we did about our story and history, but if not, I'll send that to you. But we're really just there to connect with the community and help. And also, if there's any veterans there looking for a way to help them get what it is that they'd love to do. If there's any issues getting there, we'd love to help them find a way to do what they love doing. If it's a new passion or a hobby that they'd like to help getting them on a bike, just to reach out and connect with us. And we're just always looking for ways to help the community as well. So if there's any ideas you have, to let us know, to connect, and certainly to keep supporting us. We appreciate all those folks that continue to support us with the merchandise and sharing our story and the story behind each design online. To continue doing that, and to always feel free to connect. Like, I know I'm a busy person and I'm in the middle of 3 things that I'm doing here, but I take time, and I certainly try to do my best to help where I can. So just know you're not alone, and that you're loved, and we're here to help.
That's very cool. And definitely, you've already had a big fan in me, and I'll continue to support your stuff. And I post about it with my dead Nought alter ego all the time, and
Love it.
So, so if you want, we can let you go, and then we're going to talk about you, because I'm going to tell other people about Tim and Giselle and some of your other influencers and your brand ambassadors, and talk about what kind of badasses they are.
Absolutely. And anytime anybody wants to get out for a ride, just hit me up. We'll get out there on the bike.
Sounds good. Sounds really good. Now, maybe we'll have a micro brew.
Definitely.
Well, everyone's planning a trip to come to Nova Scotia for the Cabot Trail, so I'll guide.
I'd love to do it. Yeah, definitely. That's my goal.
I know where all the breweries are.
That's perfect.
Good stuff. Thanks for joining us, Corey.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me again, and look forward to chatting with you all soon.
Yeah, this is the last episode of season 2, because now people are going to be riding more than watching us. So we'll look at maybe having you back season 3 over the next winter.
Perfect. We'll get you an update on where we're at and what we've been up to since then.
That'd be great. So
awesome.
Enjoy the concert. Look forward to seeing photos on social media.
Definitely. We'll do.
See ya.
All right. Thanks.
Take care.
So did we lose Kevin?
I texted him. He's probably having problems with his computer again. I did. Yeah. I did text him to see if he was okay, but he hasn't responded.
Yeah, because if he first came on, it was a chubby biker, and then he disappeared.
Yes. I guess there was a decision. Either you had to change the chubby biker, or you had to go and put the beard on. So.
Oh, yeah, good point.
You can't be chubby biker and then out of character. Right. I'll text him one more day. He shows active.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, so Corey, I'm so glad he was able to fit us in. As people heard, he got a last minute invite to the lead singer of Slipknot, who actually runs a mental health charity, to go meet him and go to tonight's concert in Toronto. And so, the fact that he gave us 45 minutes of his time during that's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, that was excellent.
Yeah. So that's the main reason I wanted to have him on, is he's so involved in riding charities and things like that, but also a lot of other ones. And a lot of them are all very kick-ass. But, as I mentioned, Memento Mori has meant a lot to me over the years. And so if you actually go over to the Rob channel, the thumbnail of one of my videos is his shirt, where I talk about the Memento Mori tattoo I have. And so
when did you get that tattoo?
About a year ago.
A year ago, okay.
Because when you're a cancer patient, tattoo artists won't touch you for a while.
Right.
Just because your immune system's kind of wonk. And of course, then, COVID hit here. And so tattoo artists weren't able to work. So it just took forever for me to actually get in. But they wanted me to be a couple of years out of treatments, which I wasn't 2 years out of treatments till spring 2020. So we all know what happened in spring 2020. COVID.
Oh, yeah.
That thing.
How did that slip my mind? I have no idea.
Yeah. But and then Memento Mori has always been something. So so on my tattoo, if you see on the video, I actually have a timepiece because time is part of it. And the hands of the clock are at 5:14, May 14th, which is the day the doctor told me I had cancer. So that's what helps with the symbolism of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's a video over on my alter ego channel, and I'll be putting up another one shortly about the tattoo I got earlier this month.
Oh, cool. Hey, that was great that Mike from Dispatch Writers joined us for a couple of minutes in the side chat.
Yeah, he wasn't sure if it would work too well because he's got really slow service at his campsite.
Mm-hmm.
That video he sent me that's a minute long.
Yeah.
Took him like an hour to upload.
Really?
So I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I asked him for like a short video, and he was like, yeah, it took an hour to upload. Sorry.
Yeah.
See you, Ron. Thanks for coming.
Ron Hanna is leaving. He waited around for Chubby Biker to come on, and Chubby didn't show up. So sorry, Ron.
Yeah.
Well, but he's met Kevin in person. I met Ron just briefly at the
motorcycle show.
Yeah. Oh, and
Nice.
Chad's here, right?
Fun Chuck, there he is. Yeah.
Fun Chuck, right? I had lunch with him a couple of weeks ago, and great guy. We had
This live stream business has been great for connecting people.
Yeah. Chad and I chatted. We didn't realize it. We were almost 2.5, 3 hours sitting there. Great place, Angels Diner in Orangeville, right?
Mike says he's catching most of this.
Very good. And he's stuck in his tent. So talk about a captive audience, right?
Yeah.
Oh, hopefully he didn't. Now, that would be a good question for Mike. Did he get caught in that weather pattern that went through Ontario, right, heading east? Did he get caught in that
He wasn't riding then because he only started on Saturday.
Oh, he did, eh?
Friday, Saturday, something like that. So the
just
weather pattern was earlier last week, wasn't it?
It was the long weekend. It was the long weekend.
Yeah.
Well, it's raining now, though.
Yeah.
We were riding with JD Dubois from Freedom Biker Tours. He came out.
Previous guest, yeah.
He came out from BC, check out some Ontario roads, and I had the fortune of riding with him and his friend Daniel. And we got caught in that weather pattern just south of Bancroft. And we kept looking at our phones, right? And we had the weather app showing the radar. And every time we stopped, we'd check it and we'd go, yeah, I think we can beat it. I think we can beat it. And then all of a sudden, the highway went left, right into the rain. If we had gone right, we would have stayed dry for another 5-10 minutes. But
see, that's the thing about Alberta roads and the prairie roads is you can see the storms and the roads are all square. So you just go, okay, I'll go left here.
Yeah. But a nice little thing that happened was, so we barely made it off the highway. We were, like I say, just south of Bancroft. We felt the first few spits. And by the time we got the bikes maneuvered off the highway safely, the rain started just coming down. And I actually had my GoPro still filming, and you could just see the rain bouncing off the highway. We got our rain gear on, and we looked at each other, and we just headed into the bush and stood in the bush, which, took a lot of the force out of the rain. But when it eased up, when the rain started to ease up a little bit, we decided to go back down about 10 kilometers back down the road. There was a little cafe, and we got there, pulled in. It was still raining. We go up to the window, and the woman said, "Sorry, we're closed. We don't have any power. Power's all out." And we said, well, do you have anything to drink? She says, well, I had just made a fresh pot of coffee. And we said, okay, well, can we have a cup of coffee? And she says, as long as you're paying cash. Well, who carries cash now? Right? Well, you know what? I opened up my wallet. I had $5, right? I said to the woman, will this buy us coffee? And she says, yes, not a problem. She takes the $5. Out comes coffee. And then, what a darling. Out comes butter tarts. She says, I can't offer you a seat, but here's a coffee and here's some butter tarts, right? And they were good. And they were really good, right? So we stood under her canopy for about 20 minutes or so, waiting for the weather pattern to go over top of us. And we enjoyed our coffee. And I'm a tea drinker, so, still had the coffee and enjoyed the butter tarts before we got back on the bikes and finished our day of riding.
Yeah. But it's interesting how you commented, coffee with Chad, you went riding with JD. We got Mike in the side, Chad. The community that's forming around this live stream is pretty big. Now you start thinking about it, and then we talked to Corey. We mentioned Graham Trude, and he knows Graham.
Yeah.
And it just becomes this network, and it just the connectivity is excellent.
Yeah, and another good example is Purple on 3 and Tommy
PSP
Tommy G, right? They have hosted a number of Canadian riders that have they've met on the live stream or through YouTube, and Artists on a Harley and her husband Pete, they were just down in their neck of the woods and hooked up with them, and also our friend Wayne from Jarvis Biker, right, has gone south and hooked up with them. They've got the VAM 22, which is the weekend of July 23rd. Wayne's going down to that, and he's going to see a lot of the people that we've met in the side chat. Mr. G 1965, Blue Bike and Doyle, Mr. Mustache, all of these, Purple on 3, just dozens of great people that we've met in the side chat are going to be at this event. And unfortunately, July 23rd, I'm working at our dealership's grand opening, and I'll miss it, but looking forward to VAM 2023. Seeing that there won't be a Friday the 13th in warm weather, it might as well go down there.
There you go.
So, yeah. And I'm watching for when Mike comes through Ontario, because he's going to be going to up to Angus. I think Angus,
Well, he's got Bomb the Bruce on the 12th.
Is he?
Well, I don't know
or
if
maybe
he'll
it's
be there or not.
closer. I got to check his dates again.
Yeah.
I know it's in July, so I'm hoping that I can pop up and see and support his tour. Yeah. What are you drinking, Rob?
It's a red IPA.
Very good. Very good.
No, just finishing off this growler. So, but
Angus is July 12th. Okay.
There you go.
I'll be, yeah.
I knew it was around there somewhere.
I just kept saying the 23rd too many times with other dates.
Well, if for a lot of times I have to pull this out to look at a calendar anymore because I can't remember so many things.
Yeah. Now, Chad just posted in Facebook his ride today. I guess it's today because I'm reading his comment. And he posted the Reaver. Reaver is an app on your phone, and it tracks or traces the route that you've been on, and you can drop pictures in and things like that. And Chad did that, and it was a nice little, 30-second clip, right? So Chad, well done on that. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I've been to Peacekeepers Park many a time when used to work on baseboarding. So.
yeah, no, and that's the interesting part with a lot of these military backed or based, veteran plan
Oh yeah.
charity rides is they hit a lot of these things.
Mm-hmm.
When I was down in Texas last weekend, I actually saw a 9/11 memorial to one of the Delta crews.
Mm-hmm.
I have a picture of it on my phone, and I'm still undecided if I'm going to post it on Facebook or not. But it was actually it's a nice little memorial park for air crews that were lost in 9/11.
Mm.
So it's neat when you see stuff like that. You just in places you don't expect to see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like the Rolling Barrage last year, I took them to a park in Yarmouth, Nova Scotia, that was actually put together by high school students.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the Maple Grove Afghanistan Memorial, but they've built upon it. So with that and like Bass River Veterans Memorial Park, these are places like literally kind of in the middle of nowhere that just all of a sudden have an awesome monument and memorial site.
Yeah.
And I love taking groups of people there because if it wasn't for locals saying you need to go here, they'd never see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. There's lots of little gems like that throughout the country. I guess it's as the event has touched somebody in that community, to spearhead doing a memorial or something like that.
Well, Yarmouth started as a kids' school project.
Yeah.
Now the town has taken over the maintenance of it.
Good. Well, very good. Very good.
Yeah. So it was kind of interesting, when he starts talking about, the thoughts behind his designs and stuff like that. It definitely, I think, connects us also as the YouTube journey as we try to have that connection that we want to display on our channel. And that's why you'll notice, and you've commented, of the guests I try to bring, having those stories and that kind of stuff. And that's what I really enjoy about YouTube is the ability to tell that story. And so Dave, I would like to thank you, Kevin and Wayne, for bringing me on board as a Canadian guy to help share these stories. And as we come to the end of season 2, it's been a pleasure.
Oh, we should be thanking you for the simple basis. We had no idea of the trauma that our men and women in the service are going through. So thank you for bringing an awareness to us. And it's great that we can reach out and talk with these people. And each one of them, I think, has touched us in one way or another. And you can see in the comments in the side chat, military biker, right, is,
he's another perfect example using YouTube for the mental health conversation. And that is, to me, is so epic. Is you have a platform that allows you to have these conversations and being able to use it. Yeah.
And we even sold a t-shirt tonight. So I'm not sure who our friend is, but 602 North has said.
Okay, well, 602 North. Let me give you a discount code. If you go on Instagram, look up like Army Sergeant Major, Golf Alpha Delta. They are so. Corey loves his brand ambassadors, and they are some really badass people. So here, let me just give me a second to call up Tim's profile, and he talked about the skydive thing in Campbell River, and so basically Tim goes by Army Sergeant Major on Instagram. There's my share screen. Chrome tab. So this is he was a sniper, part of a sniper team, and and he's
great
all about
picture.
skydiving. He actually was close protection in Alberta sheriffs, working with another friend or two of mine, and he's the one. If you go through his Instagram, you'll see him talk a lot about skydiving.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, a very cool picture of a cyclone. Everyone loves a cyclone.
Is that you hanging out the door?
No. But somewhere in his Instagram, you will find a discount code to MadHatter.
Oh, really?
Yes, because he's one of their influencers, so to speak. I just can't remember what his discount code is off the top of my head. But I think it's 15%. So,
oh wow,
yeah. But
Army Sergeant Major. Okay.
yeah, great guy. I first met him when he was part of the horse ride across Canada. That the guy in Quesnel, BC did, and for the life of me, I'm forgetting his name because, well, I forget names. But yeah, so that's yeah, he was in the sheriffs when I met him then, and he's retired from that now on the Vancouver Island, where his son is a parachute guy with Sartex and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So Funchuck's asking, when are we going to Paul Nichols? That's it. I knew. Thanks, Mike. I knew you would know.
So
they also did. So just blatant promotion of Mike's stuff. The Messenger documentary is being done by Patrice, who did another PTSD documentary with Paul Nichols called 10 Days. And it's about the equine therapy at the Forge in Quesnel. So it's all connected.
There's always an answer out there. So Funchuck's asked, right? So we're looking at, Chad, starting up after Labor Day. An actual date we don't have, but we'll be advertising over the summer when we're going to do that, right? And who knows? Maybe if something really happens, we might do a little quick little catch up over the summer if something happens. So he jumps out a perfectly good plane for enjoyment, right?
Actually, I have to admit, I used to fly the aircraft that I would jump out of all the time because it was fun.
Well, I used to, before my last job, I used to work for de Havilland Aircraft, and I worked on the Dash 7, I worked on the Twin Otter, and I worked on the Buffalo, right? And if anybody, well, you guys would probably know. And before that was the Caribou, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Caribou and the Buffalo, their claim to fame is they could land in a football field,
yeah,
right, without even taking up the whole field.
Yeah,
right?
They are very short takeoff.
Yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah, I used to love riding in them.
STOL, short takeoff and landing, right?
Yeah.
And they had one of the examples of how strong they were was in an air. I think it was an air show in France. They had a buffalo coming in to land on the soccer field, and they I guess they pulled in too much yoke, where they hit hard, and they basically stopped, and the wings fell off, but nobody was hurt.
Yeah,
it just all of a sudden they came in and squatted. Right?
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, we thought it was a helicopter, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Ian says he worked for Air BC in the first Dash 7s.
Yeah, I put many hours in on a Dash 7. Yeah. I did the leading edge. So one of the jobs that I did the most was the leading edge on the tail section. And that would take me the leading edge, it would probably take me almost 2 weeks to complete one, right from start to finish. There just so many pieces and lots of rivets, I tell you. Right. Well, that's good. Yeah, I like the Dash 7. Right. It was a shame when they moved it over to the Dash 8. Right. So,
yeah, it's
I never worked.
understandable though.
Yeah.
I knew some guys in Air Greenland that had the flew the Dash 7s and because Air Greenland, what they do is they do like a 767 into Kangerlussuaq, and then they hopscotch everyone up from there on on Dash 8s and Dash 7s.
Mm-hmm.
And so that, when you start looking at some of the runways in Greenland, you need robust aircraft.
Yeah.
But I just hope that a company like Viking or something like that, because they're doing great with the new Twin Otter builds they're doing. And
right.
People are loving them. So hopefully they expand upon that and buy the designs and keep, maybe build some more Buffaloes or the Dash 7s or something.
Yeah. It's a shame to see it. I mean, now they're just strictly. I think they're just strictly. Now I haven't been close to de Havilland in a long time. I saw it go through from de Havilland to Bombardier.
Yeah.
To Boeing, from de Havilland to Boeing, who owned it for a number of years, and then to Bombardier, right? And now Bombardier, I think they only produce aside from spares, I think they only produce the Dash 8.
Yeah.
In the different series.
Well, now they call it a Q400 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. We've been at this for an hour and 15 now.
Yeah. Well, okay.
I think we can. So, in my closing, like I normally do, I'd like to throw out, because we've talked about dispatches, we've talked about Bomb the Bruce, we've talked about a few other charity events. We've talked about Freedom Biker Tours, who you rode with last week. We touched on Craig and Lucinda, who are less than a week in, and their schedule's already going sideways, and or the route. I don't know if it's how badly it impacted their schedule, but I know their route is no longer what it initially was starting at. But I'd like to end as I would like to do with the with Scouse's Rolling Barrage commentary. And then I'd like to thank everyone in the side chat for coming.
Yeah, good stuff.
And hope to see you in the fall when we come back for the next season. And who knows, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, maybe we'll all get those really cool poses like Corey had, the sunglasses and, now that
he's ripped, right? I mean, the rest of us we have curves in the other directions, right? Ours are more, rounded,
Yeah. Well, he's still got a job where fitness is a requirement.
I saw when I saw him at the show, man, the guy is just totally ripped, right? So yeah, he can do those poses, Rob, right? For us,
doesn't mean we can't.
Well,
Photoshop, come on.
Well, no, because then you know what? He should have a T-shirt for dads, right? And we could do the dad pose.
Well, actually, I like when he talks about the fit of his shirts and like the material. Like when he talks about how it's what we wore on, with our combats in Afghanistan, he's right.
Mhm.
This is great material, and I love the way it breathes. And it is, I have a dad bod, and it still fits me pretty good.
There you go. There you go. I'll have to get one. I'm gonna get one of Mike's first, though. For the
I've already got one of Mike's.
I know you've got an inside though, right? The rest of us have to wait in line.
No,
right?
It wasn't an inside thing. He was advertising it for sale, so I bought one.
Yeah, but you knew who he was prior to us being introduced to him on the show. That's what I mean.
So I increased awareness, is what you're saying.
You've increased the awareness of the Canadian guys. Absolutely.
No,
right?
With Mike, because now the Canadian guys know about it.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, guys.
Okay, well, on that note, everyone, thanks for coming. And here we go with the Scouse's 3-minute video about the rolling barrage.
As I look back on the last 48 hours, I would have to say that it's certainly been a 48 hours to remember. A tiny snippet in a ride that lasts for 3 weeks, starting on one side of Canada and ending in the other, Atlantic coast to Pacific coast. I shared this ride with some amazing people, all with a common goal. A goal to combat PTSD and to bring mental health to the forefront of people's minds, even if it's only for a short while. As we travelled through the spectacular scenery, I couldn't help but think about the guys who will never get to see this stunning road or take part in such a meaningful event. This ride draws out emotions and memories that are normally tucked away in the back of your mind. I couldn't help but think about the friends that I've lost over the years, amazing soldiers whose lives were taken in a blink of an eye, real men who were not afraid to put their lives on the line for the country. I guarantee I was not the only one thinking of absent friends while we rode. Listening to the words of the Calgary firefighter outside the Royal Canadian Legion in Jasper, who lost his friend in 2020, certainly brought home the importance of this ride and why I rode 7 hours in torrential rain to get to the meeting point in Jasper. It's the little things in life that make the greatest difference. And spending time with my mates and meeting great people on the way made me feel like I didn't have a worry in the world, even if it was only for 48 hours. Remember, when you're not feeling yourself, there is always someone to talk to, someone to lend a helping hand, someone to bring you out of the darkness and into the light. There's always someone to support you. Look at the amount of people that came out to support the ride along the way. Good people, kind people, people like you and me. So if you're struggling, get the help you deserve. The piece of us that we thought had been taken from us, it hasn't gone forever. It's only been loaned to the demons. And that's just it. It's only a loan. It's yours. Time to bring it back where it belongs. It's how you get it back that matters. Don't suffer in silence. A big thank you to all those involved in bringing the Rolling Barrage together. Outstanding job. Maybe next year I can do the full pull, but we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching the vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. Please share it if you can and give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, then please think about subscribing. I always sign off with the same 4 words, and in this instance, they couldn't be more true. See you on the next one, and remember, you'll never walk alone.